Good morning, members. Good morning, members of the public. You're all very welcome to today's Babergh District Council Planning Committee of the 5th of May. May I first of all remind you of some of the domestic arrangements. Please ensure that microphones and cameras are turned off when not in use, that you do not interrupt other speakers. If you wish to speak, or a point of order, or point of declaration or interest, or request an adjournment, please use the hands up on the function tab. Members are reminded they should not have alternative communication lines open, other Teams chats, and that if you're contacted by a third party during an application, you should bring this to the legal advisor's attention. That if you're attending the meeting to speak and persistently interrupt the meeting, you may be asked to leave. If members do lose connection to the meeting, that they must contact the member support officer. You have the numbers already, as soon as possible. We will be using modern.gov to conduct all electronic votes during this meeting. I'd like to remind everyone present that this meeting will be broadcast live to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewings. The whole of the meeting will be recorded except where there are confidential or exempt items. If you make a representation to the meeting, you will be deemed by the council to have consented to being recorded. By entering this meeting as a speaker, you are also consenting to being recorded by the council and to the possible use of those sound recordings for webcasting and or training purposes. The council, members of the public and press may record, film, photograph or broadcast this meeting when the public and press are not lawfully excluded. I'd like to introduce the following officers: the Area Planning Manager, Mark Russell, Planning Lawyer, Ian Dupress, Governance Officer, Robert Carmichael, Case Officer, Linda Bacon, and we have a new young Case Officer, Mr. Michael Brooker. I think it's his first meeting with us. He's very welcome this morning. You'll meet him a bit later. Can I now move to the agenda, please? The first item is substitutes and apologies. I think we're all present. Is that correct, Robert?
Just for confirmation, I'll do a quick roll call just so that we can confirm all members are here and can speak.
Okay.
So, if you could respond with your presence this morning. Councillor Sue Ayres?
I'm present, thank you.
Councillor Melanie Barrett?
Yes, present.
Councillor David Busby?
Yeah, here.
Councillor John Hinton?
Present.
Councillor Lee Jameson?
Yeah, present.
Councillor Mary McLaren?
Present.
Councillor Adrian Osborne?
Present.
Councillor Alison Owen?
Present.
Councillor Lee Parker?
Present.
And Councillor Stephen Plum?
Present.
Thank you, Chair. We are all here this morning. And just to note, we also have the ward member of Councillor Mick Fraser. I don't believe we have any other ward members that are not already on the committee.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, I'll just point out at this point, oh, wait a minute. I'll carry on for the moment. To receive declarations for interest from members. Is there any to declare? No, there's none. Right, we'll move to item 3, to confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 24th of March. I don't believe we've received them, have we? Robert?
Sorry, Chair, I was just unmuting. We have got them, Chair. They're in the table papers. If members do need a few minutes to just review them ahead of this, then I would suggest members take a short break if needed to review them if they haven't already
they weren't.
read them.
Right, they weren't sent separately. They're in the tabled papers because there was nothing else in the tabled papers.
No, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Members, can I ask if there's any points of accuracy? Right, because you've all seen them because they were sent in the table papers. I saw them there, but I didn't. Usually they're separate as well, but they're not. Right, can I ask for a proposer, please? Nobody wants to propose. Councillor Parker.
Yeah, happy to propose, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Osborne.
I will chair if no one else.
Right, Councillor Plum. Will you second them?
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much. Mary McCallum's, Councillor McCallum's, no, they're all gone. Right. Okay, so it's been proposed and seconded. There's no points of accuracy. So we'll now go to the electronic vote. I'll ask Robert to take us through that, please.
Thank you, Chair. If members could please go to the Mudden.gov app and go to today's agenda. They will see in the top right hand corner the plus sign. If you click on that, it will bring down the subsection on attendance and voting. If you click on that, it will take you to the voting page and the vote will show in progress in a light blue colour. Thank you, Chair. All votes have now been received and the result of the vote is 10 votes for with 1 abstention, so that is carried.
Thank you very much. Right, and we'll move on to see if there's any notification of petitions. Robert?
None have been received, Chair.
Thank you very much. Item number 5, site inspections. Officers, are there any site inspection requests?
Chair, there was some correspondence from Jo Hobbs about one of her sites. That's the only one I'm aware of.
Right. Robert, have you got anything to say on the site inspections at the moment?
Currently, we have the update from the Council's tactical management team, which deals with all of the health and safety aspects of officers and councillors to ensure that all officers and employees and members are protected during the pandemic. We have the update that site visits, as they usually were, will continue and restart from the 21st of June, I believe, when the next roadmap, yes, the next point of the roadmap is reached and in line with that, Chair. So I can't really give you more than that, but that's the update.
Lovely. So I'll come to members. Are there any site inspection requests, bearing in mind what you've just heard? No?
Yes,
it looks
Chair.
like sorry, Councillor Busby.
Yeah, I'd like to call one for a site visit for Copdock. It's quite a large development, up to 170 houses. There are a number of issues, and it's not necessarily saying whether it should or shouldn't go ahead, but if it goes ahead, there should be certain conditions attached to it. One of the significant things is the access onto the old London Road, which highways haven't, at this point, I don't think have responded to, but I think members need to see the site.
And let's hope that we can get highways to respond by the 21st of June, so that then we'll go out with more information. Yes, so you're asking for that after the 21st of June?
Well, yeah, so whenever we can get out, that's right, yeah.
Members, I think, sometimes we've had one of these, I think really, at this point, I think all we need to do, Robert, is see if there's a seconder to have a site inspection, and then that can just be sorted out in due course. Robert, I'll bring you in next. Robert?
Sorry, Chair, I have to unmute another microphone as I'm live streaming this morning. Yes, Chair, that's absolutely fine. If it's possible, Councillor Busby, could we have the reference number just for our records?
It's DC/21/02073.
Right. And
so yes, Chair, the procedure here would normally be that, as Councillor Busby has requested it as a proposal, we would then ask for a seconder, and then we would have to go to a vote on that point to review it.
Well, I will second it with pleasure, so that we can go to. Oh, sorry, there's some hands up. Well, I've seconded it now. Are the hands up for that, or did you wish to speak on this site inspection? Councillor Osborne, your hand is still up, so you wanted to speak on the.
Well, yes, I was going to second that, Mr. Chairman, but I agree with David. I think it's essential on some of these larger applications that we do get a site visit. It's got, it's got everything that you need to see on the site, and that is where we need to come from. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, Robert, would you like to take us to the electronic vote? We can't do this by call out.
No, that's fine, Chair. I've just set it up, and just to confirm that the wording for this vote will be that members conduct a site visit of application DC 21-02073 in Copdock. And just to confirm that is the right reference number, Councillor Busby.
02073, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So, members, I will now start the vote on that. So if you could please go to the modern.gov app and go to the agenda for today. Go to the plus sign in the top right hand corner. Members will then be asked, members will then be shown the attendance and voting tab, and it will take you to the vote that's in progress that's shown in a light blue colour under site inspections.
Oh, I think I hit the wrong thing. Let's take me right out. Wait a minute.
If you need to, Chair, I can take your vote verbally.
Yeah, I've got to log back in. I'll do that anyway. Oh, yes. Log in. Come on. Oh, it's gone all potty for the minute. Let me clear this and start again, because I need to have it working, don't I?
While you're doing that, Peter, Mark, at the parish council meeting last night, the parish council expressed a desire to have a meeting with the planning officer. And I know that's happened on a number of occasions. Whether that could take place, would you be able to?
This application, yes.
Yeah.
For this application, yes. Yeah, we do those, Chair. I'll speak to Joe Hobbs about that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just go on to there. Log in. No, for some reason I've lost it altogether. So I'll have to give it to you third, because otherwise we don't. I'm in favour of the site inspection.
Thank you then, Chair. So with your vote as well, that makes it a unanimous vote for the proposal. So a site visit will be conducted of the application.
If you just bear with me, I'll see if I can get reconnected. Alright. Yeah, password I've got to do now.
Mr. Chairman, we're not.
Yes, it's coming through now. Sorry, yes, somebody was trying to speak.
Yeah, it's Adrian, Mr. Chairman. I just hope we're not duplicating, but I noticed that it was a site visit from Joe Hobbs earlier on was mentioned. This isn't the same application as David has been speaking about, is it?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Robert.
It was my understanding it is, Rob. It's Joe Hobbs, the case officer.
So David's.
I think I've logged back in, Robert. Sorry, yes. Mark.
Yes, Councillor. It's unless I've got something terribly wrong, it's the same case. It's the Joe Hobbs case for the 170 houses, 170 odd at Copdock and Washbrook. It's the same one.
Right, good. Well, we've agreed it, so that's good. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. There's no other requests at the moment, so we'll move on to item number 6, which is plan and application to be determined by the committee. Members, I intend to bring forward 6B, which is on page 21 first. That's in Sudbury, because one of our members, Councillor Ayres, has a dentist appointment, and as we all know, it's very difficult to get any appointments. You can't really not attend them. So she may have to leave before we finish this, but she will drop out gracefully if that's the case. But we'll continue now, and hopefully we'll get through while she's still present. Thank you. I'll now ask Linda Baker to take us through this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, members. I hope you can see on screen and hear me also.
Yes. Yep.
Good. So this is an application that's before you because it's a council application. Babergh District Council is both the applicant and the owner. This aerial image shows the site located to the north of Newton Road. Bottom left is Bellevue House. Bellevue Road is located to the west. It runs uphill before turning through 90 degrees into Burrows Peace Road, where access is then provided to the rear of the site at this point. Immediately to the left west here is the former St Leonard Hospital building, which is a locally listed building and has been converted into residential use. This is the site location plan in the wider context. So Bellevue Road running up to Burrows Peace Road, and access is across the front of this building and into the back here. In terms of site constraints, there are none that really affect the proposal, although there are 2 TPO yew trees on the site frontage, and they're not actually shown on this image. This site layout plan is not that clear, but it does show the main building and the detached garage to the rear. Vehicular access is shown from the north through this point. The property has been in long-standing use as a large house in multiple occupation, or large HMO. It currently has 9 bedrooms and was previously leased to Suffolk County Council, who used it as an HMO for more than 20 years. They used it from April 1998 to March 2020, and since then it's reverted back to use by Babergh as an HMO homeless unit. The application proposal is twofold. Permission is sought to convert the existing detached garage into an office where staff can meet with residents of the lease in a confidential environment, together with a small rear extension to the main building, along with external alterations so as to increase the number of bedrooms from 9 to 12. This slide before you shows the external alterations hatched. There's no change to the front, south or east side elevations. The north elevation shows the garage door. This was the garage, so the garage door being replaced with infill brickwork and a window and doorway being inserted. There's a modest single-storey rear extension at the rear shown here, and the size and position of some of the existing windows and doors are to be altered as shown on the west side elevation here. So we're looking at a couple of doors being blocked up, so pedestrian door into the garage being blocked, as are a couple of doors in the main building here and here, and a couple of the windows are being resized and slightly repositioned also. So this is the existing ground floor plan. It currently provides for 4 bedrooms and a kitchen. This is the proposed ground floor. There's a single-storey extension just here, so it's a fairly modest extension. And further subdivisions within the floor plan allow for 2 additional bedrooms to be created on the ground floor. This is the existing first floor plan and shows 5 existing bedrooms. And this is the proposed first floor with 1 additional bedroom. So across both floors, 3 additional bedroom spaces will be created. This is the proposed office created within the existing garage. So the existing up and over garage door will be replaced with brick infill and a pedestrian door and a window. This landscape plan, a little unclear, but it shows the main building in this area, and this is the garage. The main point really with the landscaping is that the existing driveway to the north is just being enlarged in this area to provide additional parking for 2 cars. Looking at photos of the site, so this is the access to it along Burrows Piece at the rear, and the access actually passes in front of this building and then turns right just before the hedge. So this is a view down the driveway towards the building, and the garage and rear of the building is just coming into view. This is the garage where the upper and over door is to be replaced, and the small rear extension is just in this area. Wider view of the same, so garage to be altered and converted into an office, and a small infill extension at the back. That's the reverse view back up the driveway, back onto Burrows Piece Road, closer version of the same. And this is just an image of the front elevation onto Newton Road. This is the elevation itself is unaltered. There are some alterations to paving. There is no existing vehicular access here. There are some steep steps, and this view is taken from the top of the first set of steps. So the application proposes dedicated office space to serve the existing HMO homeless unit, which is to be upgraded to provide 3 additional bedrooms and accessible facilities, which will add to the district's temporary housing facilities compliant with our policy CS18. There are no external amenity impacts and there are no adverse highway safety impacts. It's therefore recommended that planning permission is granted subject to the suggested conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I'll see if members have got any points of clarification. Just before I go to that, just apologies to Councillor McFraser. I saw your note come up, but unfortunately I wasn't aware that you needed to get away. I had a request yesterday from Councillor Ayres, and that's why we changed the procedure round. But hopefully we're not going to be too long on these, and we could get there quite quickly for you. Anyway, members, is there any points of clarification that you would like to ask the officer? Yes, there's Councillor Jameson, followed by Councillor Osborne.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask, the bedrooms, are they going to be reduced much in size with the addition of the new bedrooms?
There is some reduction in bedroom size. The existing rooms are reasonably large, so just showing there the ground floor plan, there are some large bedrooms there, and there are some subdivisions. For instance, that large bedroom to the front is being subdivided to create 2.
So we're going to reduce doubles to singles, is that, looking at those pictures, is that right? Or
well, there wrong? It's possible that could be the bedroom 1 could be capable of taking a double, whether these are for illustrative purposes or could be interchangeable depending on need. But it does show that there are single beds on this image in beds 1, 2 and 3, 4 also, and bedroom 6 is a double, bedroom 5 is a single.
Yeah, some of those single beds look as though they could accommodate a double, not all of them, some.
Okay, thanks.
Councillor Osborne.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just clarifying the position of the yew trees which are covered by a TPO. Am I right in assuming that minor works were carried out in '97, and however these will not be dealt with in any other way as part of the extensions or office build on the garages? Am I correct in that, Linda?
That's quite correct. The yew trees are literally on the site frontage onto Newton Road, and all of the works the extension is to the back here, and the garage is here, so they are away from the yew trees, and the yew trees aren't proposed to be altered in any way as part of this application.
Thank you.
Councillor Barrett.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just clarify that although there's going to be 3 new bedrooms, is there any additional communal space, bathrooms or lounge area or kitchen that's in this plan?
There there are communal space in that you've got kitchen areas, and each bedroom will have a very small kitchenette also provided. There's shared laundry, shower rooms. There's an additional bathroom as part of the proposal. So that's the ground floor plan. And the first floor plan shows 2 bedrooms, whereas I believe previously there was 1. So there are additional bathroom facilities and a shared kitchen and laundry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I see no other hands up, so we'll move on. There's no other points of clarification. Thank you. We don't have any public speakers, so we'll now move into debate. Councillor Ayres has decided is the ward member that has decided to remain as part of the planning committee, so she can take part as often or as least as she wishes. Right, members. Councillor Ayres, would you like to start? It's your ward.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. I would just say that we so need places for people who are homeless, and these extra 3 rooms would be absolutely ideal. And I would propose that we accept it as something we desperately need, very well laid out, and to have another space for the staff and a place of privacy for the people to be interviewed. So I have no objections whatsoever. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Barrett, you were next. I'm aware that you've proposed that Councillor Ayres, I'll get a seconder in a moment. Councillor Barrett? Oh, you've gone. Councillor Osborne.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I absolutely agree with Councillor Ayres on this one. It's a necessity that we really want, and having an office for staff to actually meet with the residents is an ideal situation, and I have no problems with this. I think it's a great innovation to the homeless problems that are around, not so much probably in Sudbury, but in the district itself. So I'm happy to second that as well.
All right, thank you very much. So I've had a seconder. Any other comments, members? No, there's no hands up. Yes, there is. Councillor Busby.
Yes, Chair, and I know it's not a condition that we can apply to it, but I do think that we ought to insist that the trees and the wall, the problems that have been identified in the plan, are sorted out. I mean, I'd like to almost put it on as a condition that they are sorted out before this thing goes ahead. I think it's crazy that we should be responsible for a building or an area that's not really up to scratch.
Linda, can you help on this?
Yes, it comes from 2 comments that have been received from neighbouring properties, and whilst they don't object, they have raised some issues about maintenance of the boundary wall, as well as landscaping in the front needs a little bit of attention. So I did put those comments to the Babergh officer who's dealing with the application or has submitted the application, and they have replied to say that the wall will be inspected in the next couple of weeks and they will get the repairs carried out, and that secondly, as part of the refurbishment project, the front area will be improved, the landscaping will be looked at and thinned out. So they will maintain the front garden area better and inspect and repair the wall as necessary.
So they're taking responsibility for repairing the walls, because particularly with old properties, the years roll by, and whoever originally owned them, nobody wants to own them if they're at great expense. So I think this needs to be very clear. I think Councillor Busby is right.
We could add it as a note to the approval. I don't believe we can impose it as a condition, but I'm happy to add an informative note to that effect.
Yep, I'll be happy with that. Councillor Busby?
Yep, that's great. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Will the proposer and seconder accept that?
Yes, Chair, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Good,
and
good.
It's good that David has mentioned that, because the maintenance of these properties, once that it could actually fall into disrepair, and it's nice to know that it's going to be dealt with. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There's no other hands up, so I'm assuming that everybody's spoken who wishes to speak. So if that's the case, then I'm going to ask the Robert to read out the proposal, and then we'll go to the electronic vote.
Thank you, Chair. Before we just go to that point, I will just need to confirm with Linda Bacon and Mr. Mark Russell what the informative note will say, so that we can have that in our vote.
Yep.
Thank you, Chair.
Linda, you know the site better than me. What is the matter that the applicant needs to attend to?
The side boundary wall on the, which way will it be? On the western side needs to be reviewed and maintained as necessary.
Okay. So words to the effect is the applicant is reminded that the western boundary wall should be maintained in a satisfactory condition, something like that. Is that okay?
And
Yeah, and
safe,
also it's
safe and satisfactory.
Is that all right, Linda, or is there something else that needs to go in?
yes, safe and satisfactory for the wall, but also that the front garden area requires some maintenance.
Yep.
Okay.
Good. Okay, Robert.
Not quite, Chair. I'll just need to ask Mark just to go through that just one more time so I can add that in.
Yep.
Or if Mark can send it to me, whichever one is easiest.
I'll send it to you, Rob. Does that then need to go to before the vote, or shall I do it
Well,
after that?
if you want, we can do it two ways. We can either do it as I can put it in, or I can do it as read out by the area planning manager.
Okay.
It's your discretion, Chair, on that.
Yep. Well, Mark, can you read it out, please?
Okay, so the sense of it is, Chair, and I will finesse the wording afterwards, so that's okay. The sense of it is that the applicant is asked to keep the side boundary wall in a state of good repair, and safe and good repair, and also to ensure that the front garden is kept in a visually satisfactory manner. Is that right, Linda? Is that the issue there?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the sense of it, Rob, and I will send you a properly worded, informative after committee, if that's all right, Chair.
Yes, I'm sure the proposers and seconder are quite happy with that.
Chair, I think it ought to be a bit more immediate than that. I think it's not just that they should keep it. I think that work should be carried out.
Strongly advised. Strongly advised. Do you want to say strongly advised, Councillor Busby? Is that more the tone you're after? Strongly advised. I mean, we can't tell them to. We're asking them very nicely. They wouldn't mind.
Strongly advised, then.
Works are carried out in the short term to remedy the issues of the wall and the garden, or walls and the garden, if there's more than one. I don't think we should be too specific about it. We should make sure that the whole site is up to scratch.
Mr. Chairman, can I just make a comment, please?
Yep.
I agree with everything that David said here. However, I'd like it noted that the trees that have been with the TPOs should be kept and maintained as they are. I don't wish to see, when they do improvements to the front area of the garden, that they somehow chop them down because they believe they're not in a good position. So I'd like to be added that the trees are kept as they should be. Thank you.
Well, the trees have TPOs on them, Councillor Osborne, and they can't just cut them down. They can cut them back for safety reasons or for health reasons of the tree, but they can't just come in and cut them down. So I don't think we need to concern ourselves on that too much, because that clause is already there. Robert, do you want to come in?
I agree with what you're saying, Mr. Chairman, but you know as well as I do that trees have been disappeared with TPOs on, and once that's happened, nothing's actually could.
Yes, but there's usually comes into one of those categories as to why it's happened. But anyway, Robert, can you help on this, please?
Just for I think as we're sort of getting into other points here, rather than just do it as read out by the planning Mr. Mark Russell, I'm going to ask him just to write it out so that we're all completely clear on what we will be voting on, as other points have been raised. So
Doing it now.
Mr. Russell.
Yeah, so we don't want to make this any more complicated than what it is, but we do want the walls repaired and safe, and the garden maintained. I think that, and quite strongly, I think, is the words to use. But Mark, have you got it so you can read it out?
Yes, I'm just doing it now, Chair. Do I understand that a third clause is to relate to make sure you look after the TPO trees as well? Is that what the sense of that was?
Well, I think that goes without saying, but there's no reason why that can't be part of it.
Yes, I would like to see that in there, Mr. Chairman, please.
Okay.
The yew trees, are they neighbouring the site, on the site, Linda?
They're on
the site frontage.
You might want to change this a bit. Bring this under a bit of pressure. Right, there you go. That's come up on. Rob, I've sent it to you. I can't see the main chat, so you'll have to distribute that wording. I can't get it onto the chat.
Robert, perhaps read it out and then we'll know.
Yes, Chair, I'll do that. I'll copy it and just put it into members' votes so that they can read it there as well for the sake of completeness. Right, so the additional point as raised by Mr. Mark Russell and by members is the wording, sorry, I've got two computers, I'll get to the right one, is that the applicant is strongly advised to ensure the boundary walls are retained in a safe and satisfactory manner, and to also ensure that the garden is maintained in a visually satisfactory manner. The applicant is also reminded that the yew trees on the site frontage are TPO'd and should be cared for accordingly.
Excellent. Excellent.
Good. Councillor Hinton, I see your hand is up.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we've been making a bit of a meal out of this.
Yes, I agree.
But let's not forget that the applicant is Babergh District Council, the owner is Babergh District Council, and we are Babergh District Councillors.
Yes.
So we should be able to tell Babergh District Council what to do in this situation and not worry too much about what wording is put where.
Well, we've got the word in now, but your points are noted, Councillor Hinton. Right, members, I'm now going to ask Robert to take us to the electronic vote.
Thank you, Chair. So if members could please go to the modern.gov app and go to today's agenda and go to the plus sign in the top right hand corner. There members will see the drop down and subsection of attendance/voting, and if you could please click on that, and the vote will show at the bottom of the page in a light blue colour. You may need to scroll down to access it.
Yes, you do. Right, a minute. Press this. 1 minute. Come down. Confirm.
I'm just waiting on one more vote, Chair. Thank you, Chair. All votes have now been received, and I can confirm that the motion was carried unanimously.
Well done. Thank you very much, members. Right, we'll now move on to 6B, which, so 6A, yeah, which is on page 11, and that's Hadleigh. And let me get it. And case officer Michael Booker. Michael, would you like just to introduce yourself, and then if you'd like to present the application. If you turn your camera on so everybody can see you at the start.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, members. So I'm Michael Booker. I'm a case officer for this application, and this is my first committee, so please bear with me. And I'll just share my screen now.
Thank you. Yes, that's no. Yes, it's come up. Can we hear you?
Yeah, can you
Yep,
see my
yes,
mouse? Bell?
yes. See and hear you. That's fine.
Brilliant.
And
That's a good start.
screen.
Okay, so this is a reserve matters application at 5 Station Road for the erection of one dwelling to assess the appearance, landscaping, layout and scale, and an improved vehicular access. And this application has been brought to committee as the applicant is an employee of the council. Members are reminded this presentation should be viewed in conjunction with the committee report and not in isolation. Okay, so the site is outlined here in red. It's approximately 0.05 hectares in area, and the blue outline here is the other land that's under the applicant's ownership. So this is the location in Hadleigh, as it's outlined by the red line here. It's situated just north of Station Road, which if you follow to the west will lead you straight into Hadleigh High Street here. And if you follow to the east, it will take you along to the A1071 towards Ipswich. It's located in a residential area with houses of similar sizes and plot sizes in the surrounding area. In terms of constraints, the application site isn't located within the conservation area, but the conservation area is outlined in purple here. And as you can see, it is located just north of the conservation area. Approximately about 80 metres to the southeast is a cluster of Grade 2 listed buildings, which is the granary and station yard. And the site also lies within the built-up area boundary of Hadleigh. So this is the site as existing. This is the entrance, which will be a shared entrance, and the existing garage on site, which will be removed. It will be in a similar location to the existing garage, but situated slightly further away, which I'll show you on the plans later on. And And as you can see, the existing house on site is comprised of brickwork and cladding. This is also the site from another angle. As you can see, there is a 2-storey dwelling to the east of the site. So this is to show the character of the area. As I mentioned, it's primarily brickwork and cladding in the area, and is situated along a row of single-storey dwellings, which are also comprised of cladding and brickwork with similar roof tiles as well. And this is the views from the existing access. So this will be looking out towards the conservation area, and as you can see, there's a row of terrace houses opposite the site, which just to give you an idea of the character of the area, there's varying styles and sizes. So this is the site layout plan. Excuse me. Apologies, it hasn't come up very well on the PowerPoint here. But this red dashed line here is to show the existing garage that is to be removed, and the proposed dwelling is to be located in a similar location, but slightly further away from the existing house. There'll be 2 parking spaces on site, which is in line with the Suffolk County Council highways requirements for a 2-bedroom dwelling. In terms of landscaping, the existing cherry tree on site is to be removed. And having a conversation with the council's arboricultural officer, this tree is not of any significant amenity value, so its removal is not opposed. There's other landscaping proposals such as raised planting and planting of new trees along the boundary here, which is to be controlled by a landscaping condition. The site has a large parking and turning area here, which is sufficient for the 2 cars on site and does not impede on the existing house parking or turning area, which is located here. Although it's considered under the outline permission, improved vehicle access has been provided under this application, so will be considered with a new drainage channel to prevent surface water discharge onto the highway, and an improvement in the width of the shared access, which is in line with the Suffolk County Council Highways DMO1 specification. So this is the floor plan of the proposed house. It's approximately 5.5 metres wide by 12.5 metres in length. It's a 2-bedroom dwelling with the entrance on the western elevation. There'll be a kitchen with a shared living and dining area and a bathroom here as well. And these are the proposed elevations for the house. So it'll be brickwork and weatherboarding, which will match the existing house on site, which was on an earlier slide, with clay pan tiles as well. The entrance door is on the west elevation, which will face onto the side elevation of the existing house as well. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's a single story, so it's not considered to have any significant residential amenity issues. And the window on the rear north-facing elevation here provides an approximate back-to-back distance of about 25 metres to the houses to the north, so no issues of privacy or overlooking. So the recommendation for this application is for approval, subject to the conditions that are outlined within the report.
Thank you. Member, sorry, you have finished, Mr. Booker?
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, right. Perhaps you can remove the screen to share it. Ah, yes, it has helped. We can see you, so that I'll now see members. Are there any points of clarification to Mr. Booker before we go into debate? No, we've got a board member to come next. No hands have gone up. Thank you, Mr. Booker. But stay with us, because there might be things that we need to come back to you about. Public speakers, we don't have any, but I believe Councillor Michael Fraser is with us this morning. Is that correct? Would you like? Good morning, Councillor Fraser.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
You have 5 minutes in which to address the committee. So over to you, and then we'll see if there's any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I've got no comments on this. I was merely just here for observing, as it is my ward. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Right, members, we can now. Is there any questions, sorry, that you wanted to put to Councillor Fraser? I don't think there can be. No? Okay, we're now going to debate. Thank you, Mr. Booker, if you'd like to turn your screen off for the moment, but stay with us in case you're needed. Members who'd like to start? No one's put their hands up, so you're all quite happy with it then. Well, if that's the case, Councillor Barrett.
Thank you, Chair. I think the lack of objection, the acceptance by heritage. There's very little that I can find in here that wouldn't meet with approval. And it seems, we are in want of single-storey dwellings that provide good access into town centres, because it's very, very close to the shops and the schools and things like that. So perhaps I can suggest that we approve this and go to a vote.
Thank you. I'll serve the seconder. Councillor Hinton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I will second it, but I'd just like to make a comment that the property next door has undergone a similar sort of metamorphosis, and I must confess that I'm not particularly enamoured by the end gable approach of the properties to the street scene. It does rather look like a sort of big shed's been erected in the garden of the bungalow, and is a little bit out of character. But I can't see that there are any real planning reasons why we should refuse this, especially as it has already got outline permission.
Okay. Did you want the case officer just to comment on what you've said? I can ask him, Councillor Hinton.
You can ask him, but there's
right. Case officer Booker, did you want to just comment on those views that Councillor Hinton has just mentioned? Although he's reasonably happy, he just wanted a bit of clarification, I suppose.
Yes, I'll share my screen again. It was the gable, wasn't it, on the facing the street scene?
Yep.
Just find the. So on this picture here, it's sort of a similar approach to this dwelling here. That's what it was considered kind of an appropriate design. And when measuring, it's about sort of 15 metres or so back from the highway. With there's a lot of hedgerows here, so it's not going to be particularly visible either.
Right, thank you. Hopefully that helps, Councillor Hinton. Councillor Busby?
Yeah, on the similar vein, if you can go back to the picture of the,
you got the number?
No, the proposed development. There aren't many, are there? It's the end view on that I'm looking at. It just looks as though the roof is particularly high. The one next door has a lower pitch to the roof. It just seems unnecessarily tall.
So the overall height was about 5.5 meters, which is I believe it was close to like this house here. It wasn't too much of a difference.
Okay,
yeah,
but I was just thinking, if you look at the one that's on the bottom right, the grey one in the middle there, that has a lower pitch to its roof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a small point. I mean,
I don't. I'm quite happy with it, I think, but yeah. Robert, you wanted to come in.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted it noted that Councillor Ayres has left the meeting at 10:19, just so that everyone is aware of that.
Thank you. Councillor, yes, Hinton.
Yes, I think taking up Councillor Busby's point, if you look at that roof line in the next door property, it's about the same height as the existing dwelling. But because it appears to be slightly wider, it does rather mean that the pitch on it is slightly shallower. I think the one that we're considering at the moment, it seems to be a narrower property, and therefore the pitch is that much steeper, and that's what gives the impression of it being a lot higher.
All right, thank you. Hopefully that's helpful, members. Any other comments? Robert, your hand's still up. Right, no other comments. Then it's been proposed and seconded to accept the officer's recommendation. I'll ask Robert to read it out for us.
So the recommendation before us is as laid out in the table papers. Sorry, not in the table. In the officer recommendation. With no additional conditions or informative notes, etc. So, Chair, with your approval, I will go to the vote. So, members, if you could please go to today's agenda and go to the plus sign in the top right-hand corner. Members will then see a drop-down of the subsection on voting/attendance. If you could please click on that, it will take you to the voting page where the vote will be shown in a light blue colour. It will be about 3/4 of the way down the page. Thank you, Chair. That all votes have now been received, minus Councillor Ayres, who left the meeting. So that is unanimously for.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, thank you then, officers and members. We've come to the end of today's meeting. So just to point out that the next scheduled meeting is down for Wednesday the 19th of May at 9:30, and this will be held at Endeavour House. Details will follow, but members perhaps will remain after they've closed down, and you'll be updated on that. Thank you. So I'll wait until the live stream is finished.